Fallout 3 is flawed. There's no getting around that. There are countless bugs still present in the base game, the engine runs like shit, and that's if you can even boot up the game on anything past Windows 7. I mean, the game came out on Windows Vista for God's sake. But I do love Fallout 3, almost as much as New Vegas. There's something so comforting about the Capital Wasteland. Three Dog is the best DJ in game, Megaton is super sick, and those
monsters,
What?
They're gonna get me.
What the hell are you doing over here? And the environmental storytelling is some of the best in gaming history. But there's one thing, one controversy that stands above all others in Fallout 3. The green tint. Or green filter, or whatever you want to call it. Some love it, some hate it, and some go as far as to completely scrub any existence of it from their games with the plethora of degreening mods from the community. It's been something that Fallout fans have been grappling with since the game came out, and there are still tons of discussions taking place over the green hue and its place in Fallout 3. Recently, these talks have become more concrete as rumors have begun floating around about a remaster of Fallout 3 in the same vein as the Oblivion Remaster earlier this year. In the leaked ZeniMax Management Forecast document, Fallout 3 Remastered appeared in the fiscal year ending 24 slot. Since we know that's not happening, and since both the last Indiana Jones game, The Great Circle, and the Oblivion Remaster were released in 2025, it's safe to assume we won't see much about a potential Fallout 3 remaster until 2027 or so. But, back to the topic at hand, the green tint. Should the tint come back in the remaster? Why was it in the original game to begin with? And why is it important at all? Well, I'm here to be a green tint defender, so I'll take the liberty of answering some of those questions. Let's start at the beginning.
Vault Tech presents.
It's hard to pinpoint exactly why Bethesda Game Studios decided to add a hue of light green to the game, as not one person in the development team has talked about why it's there. Essentially, it's a there is no green tint embossing say type deal. The closest thing we got was a retrospective 1 minute 33-second interview with Todd Howard and Istvan Peli, the art director of Fallout 3, where they talked about the shades of green. Not the tint shade of green, but rather the Pip-Boy shade of green. I sifted through the various interviews, retrospectives, moratoriums, and talks with the developers. And aside from some small remarks in regards to the style and tone,
it has a tone and a style to it. I can look at an image from Fallout and instantly go, Fallout.
Not much is said about the ever-present green. The evergreen, if you will. I read through almost every review of the game from 2008 and found not one mention of the green tint by any reviewer at the time as well. So, why was there not much talk about something that's become such a hot topic amongst Fallout fans? Well, my guess is that when the game released in 2008, there were very few other games that looked and played like Fallout 3. Of course, looking back now, it's easy to see how the green tint might come across as old and tired, but at the time, there were so few first-person shooter RPGs on the market, it was hard to draw comparisons to. Everyone was too busy talking about VATS, which, to be fair, was a pretty revolutionary gameplay addition. But, as HBomberGuy aptly pointed out in his hour-and-a-half-long tirade about Fallout 3,
the VAT system looks totally badass. No written or video review can shy away from mentioning this and showing you in graphic detail. Yeah! This is the part that people like. What about the nuanced storytelling? Who gives a shit?
Since Fallout 3's release, the modding community quickly hopped on the degreening process, releasing Fallout, the popular mod by Haddix, to get rid of the tint and make the game look how many people believed the game should always have looked like. The mod just recently surpassed 1 million unique downloads, and compared to the mod that makes the green tint stronger, it does have a solid lead. And if you want to play with a more natural and realistic coloring, I will not be the one to cast the first stone. One of my first playthroughs on my PC version of Fallout 3 was done with a bunch of realism mods added on, with one, of course, being Fallout. But, if I may, I'd like to make a case as to why you should keep the green tint and why it should return in the remaster. Video games are art. You may be thinking, well, yeah, sure, but where the hell did that come from? I bring up this fact because I think the reason that the designers and art team decided to add the green tint to Fallout 3 is the same reason for a painting having a certain color palette or a movie choosing its colors to match its tone. The good, the bad, and the ugly? Browns. The Matrix? Greens. The Mona Lisa? Browns and greens. These are meant to be various depictions of something real, regardless of how fantastical they may be in subject matter. It's the creator's artistic representation and the choice of the artists to give their pieces tone and style, something that Todd Howard mentioned in his earlier interview.
It has a tone and a style to it.
Who's laughing now?
Fallout 3 is a piece of art, no different than a movie or a painting. The same goes for all video games. And the artists behind Fallout 3 chose to add the green tint in the same way that a painter chooses a color to elicit something. Radiation, decay, death.
Somebody fart?
Whatever the reason behind it, I do think that the artist's intent is important. The green tint might have just been to cover some rougher edges. It may have been to make the game feel dingier and grittier than it actually was, but I think it was intentional. But this is all talk. I want to show you some concrete evidence. Let me take you to a place where the loss of the green tint actually takes away from and harms the overall presentation of the game. This is the back exit to the Galaxy News radio building in the downtown DC ruins. The sprawling wasteland of bombed-out office buildings, gnarled metal, and the occasional irradiated beings peppering the distance. And here it is without the filter. Sure, it might look slightly more realistic, but seeing the desolation and destruction of civilization with bright blue sunny skies seems to miss the point of a scene like this. You walk out from a building with the entire back caved in and destroyed. You see ghouls shuffling around, waiting for their next victim. This isn't supposed to be a Bluebird day. It's supposed to feel like an apocalypse. Sure, there are some places that almost look comically green. No, this is not edited. This is actually just how it looks. But there are also so many places that benefit from the slightly sickly colors the original artists intended. In both the dawn and dusk hours in Fallout 3, the color palette is filled with oranges and pinks, making for some pretty impressive sunrises and sunsets in game. The green tint isn't perfect. Neither is Fallout 3, but I do think it serves a purpose that, by changing it, does alter some of the fabric of what makes it Fallout 3 to begin with. This leads me to another point in regards to artistic intent versus realism, which was something that a lot of fans of the original Oblivion game pointed out when it came to the newer, more technically advanced Oblivion Remastered. Sure, the new one has better textures and lighting and animations and leveling systems and... where was I going with this? There are some important tonal distinctions in the world that get muddled when the original artistic vision of the game is thrown out in place of realism. This area here was a big contention for fans of the original Oblivion game that felt it lost some of the original charm and artistic expression. Realism is great, and I love detailed textures and impressive shadow mapping as much as the next guy. But when it takes the place of actual artistic style, I worry for a future of games that rely solely on how close it is to our world instead of how distinct it is for its own world. Many a true nerd's video about Fallout 3 Remastered brings up the point about Oblivion Remastered, and I think is an important caution when hoping the green tint goes or stays for a potential Fallout 3 remaster.
As much as people mock the green filter, I think it's actually a pretty critical part of Fallout 3's visual identity. But we can see from Oblivion Remastered the very distinctive vibrant colours like the green of the forest east of Skingrad that didn't really survive into the remaster.
So, why is the tint important in Fallout 3? I think it makes up an important part of the identity of the game and is something the developers did as a clear artistic choice to dramatically change the vibes and tone of the game. Sure, you can get rid of it, but then why not color correct your movies to be more true to life? Stylization is an important aspect of art, and at the end of the day, the green tint is a stylistic choice. At some point, I think we need to be okay with letting pieces of art stay as the creator intended it. And this is in no way a dig at the modding community. I love my mods. I have a Fallout New Vegas playthrough with over 200 mods currently activated. But something I try to avoid messing with is the yellow tint present in New Vegas. I mean, at some point, is it even Fallout 3 anymore? Look at this. What are we doing here? And I guess the older I get, the more I want to hold on to the nostalgia of booting up the game for the first time and seeing the sickly green of the vault, walking through the irradiated ruins of DC, and noticing that weird structure in the distance, silhouetted against an olive-colored sky. I wonder what that is. I think the green tint runs deeper for me than most, but I think the further away I get from the first time I played it, the less I care about things like realism, and the more I enjoy the hue. I read somewhere that compared the green tint to a fluorescent light bulb. Yeah, it's unsettling, it casts everything in a sort of uncanny light, but that's the point. You're not supposed to feel comfortable in a nuclear apocalypse. Having something different, not chasing pure realism, is good every once in a while. So, should the inevitable Fallout 3 remaster have the green tint? Yes. It would be stupid of me to have made a video clearly making its case to turn around and say no. I think more and more people are coming to the same realization that I made. The green tint is comforting. It's what makes Fallout 3 Fallout 3. Without it, I think it loses a part of its identity. And when Fallout 3 Remaster comes out, I hope the art team decides to keep a clear choice made by the original development team intact, even if everything else around it changes. So if you're returning to Fallout 3, throw on as many mods as you want, get rid of those soupy and low-res textures, fix those bugs, but when you go to download that degreener mod, maybe hold off on it for a bit. Walk the halls of Vault 101, let the irradiated light of the Capital Wasteland wash over you, and wherever you wander, I hope it's green.
To touch the green, green grass of home. Yes, they've all come to meet me, arms are reached, smiling sweetly. It's so good to touch the green, green grass of home. The old house is still standing.